Hey there everybody, hope your day's going well. Jared Old School King here, and welcome back to another Wild Wednesday. This is one that caught my eyes. I was just scrolling through Pokemon theories, and yeah, the Pokemon theory Ghost is actually Marowak. I don't get why this is a theory, because the mystery gets solved once you have the Silph Scope. The Ghost is revealed to be the dead mother of Cubone, Marowak. So, is there something else? Is there something I missed? I mean, in almost 8 minutes or so, there might be a promo thing at the end I'll cut off, but yeah, how is this a theory? What is Ghost other than Marowak? I guess I'm gonna be here to find out. So let's get into ProtoMario's video and find out what the theory is.
Something has always bothered me about Ghost. You know, the Pokemon named Ghost that really isn't a Pokemon. For years, ever since the game was released, Ghost has been surrounded by controversy. From glitches to its sprite, it seems Ghost gets a lot of attention. So today, let's find out what exactly is Ghost. And you might be surprised to find the truth in today's Creeptastic episode. Cue intro.
You know, if I actually planned these out beforehand, maybe I would have done this for October's Wild Wednesday, but it's not as though the middle of the month is anywhere close to Halloween. But then again, I guess some people do see the entire month as a spooky holiday, but yeah, so, I mean, like I said, other than it is revealed to be Marowak, or Marowak, then what else is there? Like, what more is there? Because, I mean, yeah, there's the glitch, but I wouldn't really consider that, since the game developers never intended for that to be a thing. So, yeah, what exactly is Ghost, then?
So it may amaze you that this theory is one of my own. As I said before, I always found Ghost interesting, and it seems not many people have thought of what I have. Now, I am not tooting my own ego horn here. I'm just explaining why there is no one to shout out, unless I want to shout out myself. Now that would be tooting the old ego horn. But I digress. Ghost is a Pokemon handler to take care of ghost Pokemon encountered by the player in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. When the player has not received the Silph Scope, Ghost will be in place of said Pokemon, which are most commonly Ghastly and more rarely Haunter.
And even more rarely, I think it like, what, I think it was around like maybe 4 or 5%, a Cubone. God, that took me a while when I went to Ghost Hero. Of course, the edited video was just the highlight of, here encountering a Cubone, and encountering a Cubone, encountering a Cubone, so on and so forth.
But something bothers me about this. For example, several trainers have Ghost-type Pokemon, and they don't have the Silph Scope. Remember, the Silph Scope was extremely rare. That's why Giovanni had one hidden with him in his hideout. So how do trainers like Agatha have Ghost types without it?
Well, initially I would think it's like maybe that, like a 1 in 10 type thing, like 1 in 10 people can actually see Ghosts. And then once, like, capturing them and analyzing them can say, hey, like, because for most people can't see Ghosts because they, like, Ghosts try to be immaterial, transparent. But there's, of course, the 1 in 10 that can see the Ghost regardless of transparency. So those people will catch the Ghost and then show, hey, look, I told you the damn Ghost was real. And yeah, in a world like Pokemon with Pokeballs that can capture creatures, yes, they can prove, hey, make sure you stay materialized so I can prove to these people that you are real. Something along those lines. And then the other 9 out of 10 just go, wow, Ghosts are real. That looks pretty neat. I want one too. Maybe that's how, like, because the channelers are only in, well, not just in one location. I think there's a couple, maybe 2 or I don't know how many. I know there's at least 1, maybe 2 or 3 in Sabrina's gym, Yeah. Then apart from Agatha, there's no one else no other trainers that have ghosts. Yeah, no. I was thinking of something else. For a minute, I thought, wait, did the rival get a ghost? No, at least not to battle with. Yeah, interesting. Okay, but anyway, I mean, like I said, it's the 1 in 10 that can see ghosts and then prove to everyone else, hey, ghosts are real, and it's because of those 1 in 10, hey, you guys are so rare. We want to understand how you see ghosts. Then that way we can make everyone see ghosts. So that way, maybe more information can be gathered about ghost type Pokemon. Maybe along those lines. Because, I mean, Silphco essentially manufactures all the Pokeballs, and they're just like, hey, we want to be able to analyze more. Research grants, the research grants specifically say we need to study more Pokemon, so make sure everyone can see ghosts. I think I might have just gone into a bit of a ramble this early on, but yeah, that's just my take on it.
So we have some discrepancies. But Proto, it was the first game. But Proto, it's Generation 1. But Proto, it's just Gen 1er. Gen 1er. Gen 1er. Alrighty, comment section. I can see the whole Gen 1er thing, except I love Gen 2 and Gen 6 just as much as 1. Excuse me for not liking Trash Bag or Iron Ice Cream Cone. Sorry. Fun fact, before Pokemon was released in America, Game Freak had time to clean up all the sprites and change many around.
Yeah, but wasn't that more due to time constraints? They were kind of, they had a set date and they wanted to do more, but they had to cut a lot of content out, which definitely makes sense, given things kind of tend to drop off around the halfway point where it's just oh, here's some stuff, and there's a bunch of things that are just kind of left in, I think you did a video on someone you traded a something for a Raichu, you give Raichu to him and then he gives you something else, then later he says, oh hey, that Raichu you gave me evolved. Sorry, what? How? What? As for, you being a Gen 1er, hell, I am too. Gen 1's the only Pokemon game I've completed. Well, Red, Blue, Yellow, and Stadium. I didn't do Green, but... And then as for Gen 2, well, I'm working on Gold, Silver, Crystal, and Stadium 2. Speaking of, shouldn't I... there's something I'll take care of at a later point in time. Anyway, so does Game Freak cleaning up certain sprites, does that have something to do with, what... Or are you trying to get into, something of what the... apart from Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar, is there something that was, is there something that the ghost was supposed to be? Was it supposed to be an additional Pokemon to catch? Maybe only one opportunity, the legendary birds? Or something like that? That could be interesting.
So saying they didn't have time to correct a few plot holes is a bit silly. For the sake of viewing this as an entirely separate universe, let's continue. You might be getting bored with all of this explanation. I assure you though, it will all make sense when I put it all together for you. So trainers are able to see ghost type Pokemon and catch them. Some would say Hex Maniacs are being controlled by ghosts, but that doesn't explain Agatha, a powerful Elite Four trainer. And some of those Hex Maniacs were at Sabrina's gym. You really think a psychic wouldn't be able to figure out if someone was possessed or not?
Well, I'm sure Sabrina would have vetted the different trainers that challenge any challengers that might come into her gym. But like I said, maybe it's the 1 in 10 that can actually see ghosts, regardless of their of them trying to be immaterial or not. And then they catch the ghost and show everyone else, hey, there's a ghost. And of course, the ghost would have to be more materialized in order to partake in a Pokemon battle. Whether it's whether they're on the attacking or the defending side of things, whether they're just sending out an attack or like trying to endure an attack.
This is what initially led me to think something was amiss. Ghost, the imposter Pokemon that steps in place for ghost types. A good speculation for why this occurs is ghosts are trying to protect their sanctuary by making it impossible for trainers to capture them. Using illusions, this would prevent Pokemon trainers from catching the ghosts and keep trainers out of their tower. However, it seems to not have affected Team Rocket on the top floor. Good speculation, but there is still nothing more to this.
But, there's nothing really to say that Giovanni is an idiot. I mean, he's definitely a charismatic leader, and he would have to be pretty smart to take that position. Not only take the position, but also reign control over the entire organization of Team Rocket. So, maybe because he has the original Silph Scope, he already had Silphco manufacture a bunch of, actually, because I did mention this before in one of your other Silph Scope theories. Maybe the promotion for the Silph Scope was just out there, and Silphco was already manufacturing a bunch of instead of a prototype, a finished product, but they had the main prototype, a fully functional prototype. And then, what they were going to put out to the public was just, the mass-produced, smaller version. So maybe when Giovanni took over, he took the prototype for himself, and then, I was about to say he reverse-engineered and already produced it, but given how, promotions usually work, they already have a bunch of stuff, a bunch of stock in the warehouses, and then once the release date comes, they release it all from the warehouses. So maybe Giovanni, after taking the prototype, he figured out where all the manufactured products were being stored, and then handed them out to at the very least, to the people, to all the rockets that were taking over the Lavender Tower. Yeah, but that, I don't know, could they somehow influence the other, or maybe it wasn't the trainer ghost that they manipulated. Maybe it was the wild ghost they manipulated to possess the channelers there. There we go. That does make a little more sense. Yeah, so like I said, maybe there's already a warehouse full of the product just about ready to go out, but Giovanni just took it and then handed it to his goons.
Marowak was killed by Team Rocket and turned into said ghost. Its story is well known. Marowak and Cubone were made as Pokemon for that reason. But you see, there is an answer. Pokemon die naturally. It takes quite a lot to kill Pokemon, so they tend to live quite a long time. Consult Alakazam's Dex entry if you do not believe me. So when a Pokemon dies unnaturally, this causes an imbalance and creates another Pokemon known as Ghost. This anomaly is not Pokemon nor Ghost Pokemon. It itself is a dead Pokemon. And while Game Freak probably wouldn't add that due to Nintendo's family-friendly reputation, there's evidence all over the Pokemon Tower.
That is true. The Pokemon Tower is it is essentially a giant graveyard. Hell, you talk to people who came there to visit their graves. Hell, even to the south, in the observation tower between Lavington and whatever route is south of there, there's a trainer who said, "Hey, I was going to teach my Pokemon this, but they died. Here, you can have the TM, whatever the first gen number was for Swift. And hey, you get a free TM for that." What you're saying is that if a Pokemon dies unnaturally, like you said, Pokemon might age out and die naturally. I mean, hell, even if, because you did say, the anime and the games are different universes, which I do believe they are, there is still some correlation between the two. Because, I mean, hell, they're both Pokemon universes, just alternate Pokemon universes. And Tracy's Scyther was, very old. There was an episode all around it about it being old, getting kicked out of its, swarm, I guess, because technically it's an insect, so technically it would be a swarm. Yeah, the old Scyther gets kicked out, Tracy captures it, and, go on from there. So if a Pokemon naturally dies, it kind of maintains a balance, but when Team Rocket screws around, then they create an imbalance by killing the Marowak. Okay, so are we? So are you saying there was? I'm sure there should have been, well, at least a few more different ghost types than just, well, technically three, but one line of evolution. So yeah, yeah. So was there supposed to be something more? Maybe, hopefully, yes.
Someone speaks of their dead Rattata. That is strange. Rattata seems quite young to die without evolving. And of course, Gary's dead Raticate, as well as Marowak's dying unnaturally and transmigrating into a ghost.
Hold on. Because I did Rattle Factor's theory on what happened to the rival's Raticate. And honestly, I came to the conclusion that the rival just swapped out Raticate because hey, it is a powerful Pokemon, but it's not as diversified as an elemental Pokemon. Whether that element is like fire, electric, water, ice, fighting. Well, I guess fighting isn't an element, but it's a different typing of Pokemon. So yeah, that was what maybe I should look at your theory of that. Well, depending on how long it is. This one's already, well, fairly long, but yeah. Yeah, like I said, I don't think that the Raticate from the rival died, that he just swapped it out for something else. Maybe I should like I said, maybe I'll take a look at your theory sometime in the future. I don't know exactly when, but yeah, I'll take a look at it at some point.
When Pokemon face their death, terrified with what may occur, some of them just refuse to leave the world. Some Pokemon are so attached to their trainers they do not want to leave. Death is something these Pokemon can't face, and they refuse to face, and so they become the entity known as Ghost. As for the Silpscope, I already debunked that theory as a corporate cash grab. It's nothing more than a placebo device. If you want to see the theory, check it out. You might enjoy it. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this theory gave you a different perspective on the terrifying ghost. Don't let it haunt your thoughts. After all, it's just a game, right? Pokemon don't die in the show, right?
What is that? Not any Pokemon I know.
No Pokemon entry found.
They're not Pokemon?
Oh. Well. Thanks for watching. And please remember to like and share my work. Liking my work helps my dreams come true, so thanks. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go find a kid in the Lost Woods. All I keep finding are phantoms. Hey, wait a minute. Oh, shit!
Okay, I don't quite know that Pokemon. I'm guessing, like, it's supposed to be, like, a lost child in the woods or something. Like, that's supposed to be, like, the Pokedex entry. I don't know. That's a generation beyond first, and I think beyond second as well. Doesn't look like any Pokemon I was researching when, like, taking notes of, like, what Pokemon to catch where. So, yeah, probably not. Anyway, so, okay, you mentioned your self-scope theory, but you didn't really say it was much of a, like, a corporate cash grab. You said your question, what is the point of the self-scope in first gen if it doesn't exist in second gen or beyond? And, well, my theoretical answer, at least, was that it's more of a prototype, kind of like I just mentioned here. And, like, maybe there's two prototypes. The big prototype that you take from Giovanni and the smaller prototype that Giovanni would have given to his goons, with the finalized version just being like an installed part of every Pokedex. Or hell, maybe actually, maybe enough people caught like different Ghastlies, Haunters, and maybe even the occasional Gengar, that the like newer versions of the Pokedex could always identify a Ghost-type Pokemon. Hell, even in that clip from the anime that you show, Ash starts like waving his Pokedex around, and eventually, Pokemon detected right there, and the Pokedex identifies Ghastly, and then that's when Ghastly appears. So maybe, I mean, hell, by that point, did Ash have an update to his Pokedex? Because no, I'm pretty sure that was well before the Togepi egg hatched. Huh. I don't remember, but essentially, and hell, I've said this before in some of your other theories, that Ash does not have a first generation Pokedex. He has like another generation, because he started well after what would have been Red, Blue, and Yellow and hell, even red, blue, yellow, and green even starting. He started like a little while after, and then that's why his Pokedex can like automatically identify and give information about different wild Pokemon, like the Pidgey he runs into, the Rattata he runs into, even the different Spearow that he runs into, like in the very first episode. And okay, so like your main part of the theory was that when a Pokemon doesn't die of natural causes, and it, maybe Team Rocket's messing around, yeah, maybe something happens that throws things out of balance, and then like the universe, in order to create more of a balance, turns the unnaturally dead Pokemon into a ghost spirit that refuses to leave the world, but isn't actually a ghost Pokemon to be caught. Which, I mean, hell, that's why you can't capture the ghost Marowak in Pokemon Tower. I can definitely see that. I've noticed that with a few of your videos. It's like kind of like, oh, here's what's going on and here's the balance. Maybe there's something to that, like in the world of Pokemon. Definitely an interesting theory this time, and I've got quite a bit to do. So yeah, I'm gonna get this edited together, get on some more stuff, and go on and on and on and on. Yeah, I will. I'll hope to catch you there, whether it's another video, a short, a live stream, whatever it might be. So, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, hit that bell so you can always be notified whenever I upload another video. And as always, have fun.